Hello, I'm Paul Muldoon and I'm reading from episode 12, Cyclops. So then the citizen begins talking about the Irish language and the corporation meeting and all to that, and the Shawnees that can't speak their own language, and Joe chipping in because he stuck someone for a quid, and Bloom putting in his old go with his tuppenny stump that he cadged off of Joe, and talking about the Gaelic League and the Anti-Treating League and drink, the curse of Ireland. Anti-treating is about the size of it. God, he'd let you pour all manner of drink down his throat till the Lord would call him before you'd ever see the froth of his pint. And one night I went in with a fella into one of their musical evenings, song and dance about she could get up on a truss of hay, she could my Maureen lay. And there was a fella with a ballyhooly blue ribbon badge spiffing out of him in Irish, and a lot of Colleen Bonds going about with temperance beverages and selling medals and oranges and lemonade and a few old dry Bonds gob. Flahula entertainment, don't be talking. Ireland sober is Ireland free. And then an old fella starts blowing into his bagpipes, and all the gougers shuffling their feet to the tune the old cow died off. And one or two sky pilots having an eye around that there was no goings on with the females hitting below the belt. So, how and whatever, as I was saying, the old dog, seeing the tin was empty, starts mousing around by Joe and me. I'd train him by kindness, so I would if he was my dog. Give him a rousing fine kick now and again where it wouldn't blind him. Afraid he'd bite you? Says the citizen, jeering. No, says I, but he might take my leg for a lamppost. So he calls the old dog over. What's on you, Gary? Says he. Then he starts hauling and mauling and talking to him in Irish, and the old touser growling, letting on to answer, like a duet in the opera. Such growling you never heard as they let off between them. Someone that has nothing better to do ought to write a letter pro bono publico to the papers about the muzzling order for a dog the like of that, growling and grousing, and his eye all bloodshot from the druth is in it, and the hydrophobia dropping out of his jaws. All those who are interested in the spread of human culture among the lower animals, and their name is Legion, should make a point of not missing the really marvellous exhibition of synanthropy given by the famous old Irish red setter wolf dog, formerly known by the sobriquet of Gary Owen, and recently rechristened by his large circle of friends and acquaintances, Owen Gary. The exhibition, which is the result of years of training by kindness and a carefully thought out dietary system, comprises, among other achievements, the recitation of verse. Our greatest living phonetic expert, Wild Horses Shall Not Drag It From Us, has left no stone unturned in his efforts to delucidate and compare the verse recited, and has found it bears a striking resemblance, the italics are ours, to the rands of ancient Celtic bards. We are not speaking so much of those delightful love songs with which the writer who conceals his identity under the graceful pseudonym of the Little Sweet Branch has familiarized the book-loving world, but rather, as a contributor DOC points out in an interesting communication published by an Evening Contemporary, of the harsher and more personal note which is found in the satirical effusions of the famous Raftery and of Donald McConsidine, to say nothing of a more modern lyrist, at present very much in the public eye. We subjoin a specimen which has been rendered into English by an eminent scholar whose name for the moment we are not at liberty to disclose, though we believe that our readers will find the topical allusion rather more than an indication. The metrical system of the canine original, which recalls the intricate alliterative and isosyllabic rules of the Welsh Englyn, is infinitely more complicated, but we believe our readers will agree that the spirit has been well caught. Perhaps it should be added that the effect is greatly increased if Owen's verse be spoken somewhat slowly and indistinctly, in a tone suggestive of suppressed rancour. The curse of my curses, 7 days, every day, and 7 dry Thursdays on you, Barney Kiernan, has no sup of water to cool my courage, and my guts red roaring after Lowry's lights.